What up, y'all? Welcome back to I'm Just Saying Sports. It is Tampering Monday. NFL tampering season is officially about to begin. By the time I upload this, it will have begun. But before I get into it, be sure to like, comment, subscribe, tell your people to holler at me because I'm out here. Yeah, I've been gone for a minute, but I've been uploading shorts, but I'm back. It's going down. All right. So these are my top 10 available free agents or just available players in general, because some of them include trades or people that have requested trades. So let's go. Number 1, Kirk Cousins. He's the top free agent available simply because of his position. It's not because of his talent or anything like that, but because he's a quarterback, and there's a lot of vacancies and openings and teams that need a quarterback, so he'll be highly coveted. But I have Kirk Cousins going to the Atlanta Falcons. The fact that Minnesota allowed this man to get out of the building without a contract lets me know all there is to know. When their new GM, Kwesi, he's from the Cleveland Browns, so he's from the Andrew Berry tree of thought. When he got there was reported rumors that he didn't want to pay Kirk Cousins. Now, Kirk Cousins did go on to play for a little bit longer. I think he got a contract extension. And he was still there. However, I think with Kirk Cousins' age, with his injury, with the fact that the Minnesota Vikings really haven't got over the hump and Detroit Lions have taken over that division now, I don't think Kirk Cousins is going to be back in Minnesota. I think they'll find a way to get a quarterback, maybe a bridge quarterback. They were reportedly talking about Sam Darnold and possibly drafting a quarterback. I mean, they have the 11th pick in the draft, so maybe they go up or try to trade up, or maybe just stay in place and try to draft their quarterback of the future. But I do see Kirk Cousins going to the Atlanta Falcons to shore up that offense. Number 2, T. Higgins. Now, this just came out this morning that he requested a trade from the Bengals because there haven't been any contract talks between T. Higgins and the Bengals since, I think, March or something like that. So basically since 2023. So about a year since they had any type of contract extension talks. And I know that's a tough pill to swallow. So they franchised him. They don't want to pay him. I get it. He wants to trade. If he does get traded, I expect the Bills to be big players here. You have Gabe Davis, who's going to be gone. Stephon Diggs, we saw him last year. He started to look unhappy. He's starting to be frustrated, and all of the stuff that's been coming out with his brother tweeting and all of this stuff. I don't think Stephon Diggs wants to be there anymore. The past 2 seasons with him and the Bills have been bad. They've been a lot of negativity surrounded him and the Bills. So I think he's gone possibly. And T. Higgins can step in and be that number 1 receiver for Josh Allen as they continue to try to make a push to beat Patrick Mahomes and reach the Super Bowl and hopefully win one. But I see this as a good fit, and this is probably the best fit for him, even though I know it's within conference and the Bengals and Bills are on the same kind of level. So people might say, hey, they're not going to trade him within the conference, but hey, we'll see, man. We'll see. We've seen stranger things. Number 3, L'Jarius Sneed. He's going back to the Chiefs. His trade is too expensive. I think they said something like 2 number 1s or something like that. Nobody's giving up 2 number 1s for a cornerback that you could probably get next year. You know what I'm saying? Then with the plethora of safeties and DBs in general being available on the free agent market, I think somebody will pick those other guys over spending that type of money on a position that doesn't necessarily impact the game as much. So I see him just staying put this year, and then we'll see what happens next season. Number 4, Saquon Barkley. Now, Saquon Barkley is in a unique situation because obviously running backs don't have a lot of value. They've been devalued in this NFL. However, there are teams within his division that want him. Philadelphia Eagles have been reported. But my pick is the Dallas Cowboys. You heard Jerry Jones talk about them. They're going all in this year. He don't have a lot of time left, so their run game was not great. Tony Pollard did not live up to expectations. Maybe he does need to be a tandem because he's not a solo guy. But putting Saquon Barkley back there, a guy that can be a 3-down back if necessary, but just can, like, you have that 2-headed monster with Tony Pollard and Saquon. That'll be a good look. So I see Saquon Barkley going to the Cowboys, maybe on a 1 or 2 year deal. Next up, we got Patrick Queen. Now, the Ravens, for some reason, don't want to bring him back, reportedly. But I see him going to the Seahawks, man. I see him going to the Seattle Seahawks to join up with his former defense coordinator from last year, the Ravens. It just makes too much sense, and they'll be able to pay him a bag. He'll be appreciated, and he'll be looked at as a leader, because the Seahawks have gotten rid of a lot of guys. So look for Patrick Queen to take over out there in Seattle. Next up, you got Derrick Henry. This is an easy one. I think the Ravens are going to get him. The Ravens have been pursuing him. They've been pursuing a better running back for the past year or so, and I can see Derrick Henry just being there. He's still got some gas in the tank. He's not washed. He's not the same Derrick Henry that he used to be a few years ago, obviously, but he's still good enough, and he could possibly put that team over the hump, because we saw Lamar Jackson had weapons last year, but their run game was solid. But I think if you put Derrick Henry in there, it's kind of the same thing with the Cowboys. You put Derrick Henry in there, that elevates him and that takes him to another level on the offensive side. And it's gonna be some problems, because the Ravens, they have to keep up with the rest of the division. I mean, you've seen the Steelers make their move for Russell Wilson to solidify that. You've seen the Browns go out and get Jerry Jeudy to solidify that receiving core. The Ravens still need to make moves. They're not set, and especially with the guys that they're going to lose, they need to make it up somewhere else on that team. So I could see Derrick Henry going to the Ravens and bolstering that run game. Next up, we got Josh Jacobs. There's another one. I think he stays put. It sucks because they didn't get it done, but at the same time, I feel like he understands it's a business. I don't think Josh Jacobs has that as much of a market as a Saquon and a Derrick Henry. So I just feel like he's just gonna stay there. he's gonna be back. They're gonna work it out. They're gonna figure something out. He's gonna be back, probably like a Joe Mixon deal, when he took a pay cut for the Cincinnati Bengals a year or two ago. It'll be something like that. But Josh Jacobs, he'll be back in the Raiders uniform. Hollywood Brown is the next one. I can see him going to a place like the Jaguars. They lost Calvin Ridley. They need a guy that can replace Calvin Ridley, that can come in and make something happen, because their receiving group ain't that great. Hollywood Brown wouldn't make it super great, but he would make it better. So give Trevor Lawrence some weapons and let him go after it, and then Hollywood Brown can open up the top of the defense, man. And they need somebody that can do that. So maybe he goes there, but that's where I see him. I think that's a great fit for him. Next up, we got Gabe Davis. Gabe Davis is tricky, because I honestly thought that he was going to go to the Browns, to be honest with you. But when they made that trade for Jerry Jeudy, that kind of went out the window. So I can honestly see Gabe Davis going to a place like the Chicago Bears. The Bears have talent on that roster with DJ Moore. We all know they're gonna try to trade Justin Fields and Caleb Williams, or whoever they draft number one, but I'm assuming that it's Caleb Williams, is going to need as many receivers as he can get. And Gabe Davis, while he has been inconsistent in Buffalo, when he shows up, he shows up. So I believe that would be a good fit for him. Plus, they have a lot of cap space, so they'll probably end up overpaying for a receiver, and Gabe Davis is going to be the beneficiary of that. And last up, Danielle Hunter. Now, they've been playing this cat and mouse game out there in Minnesota, but he needs the bag. He needs the bag, and he's going to go get it. Who else to give him the bag than a young Houston Texans team, right? They have a lot of money in cap space. They have a good young squad. We saw them go to the playoffs and win the playoff game and get to that second round. And I think even though they do have a Will Anderson over there, they put Danielle Hunter on that other side, shore up that defense because the offense is clicking. Hey, they're going to be some trouble this season. In the playoffs, in that division, anywhere, they're going to be trouble. So I see Danielle Hunter going to the Houston Texans and balling out. So that's my top 10 free agents and where I think they're going to go. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. Again, be sure to like, comment, subscribe. Tell your people to holler at me, because I'm out here. Peace.